As you probably know, in this new Gorilla Tag update, you can fuse snowballs together to make bigger snowballs. And you can keep on doing this until you get absolutely ridiculously just humongous snowballs. And this is very, very, very important, because it can knock you back and it can juke lava monkeys and absolutely just launch you across the map. But there are some things you need to know first. So this is the ultimate guide onto the snowball. One thing you should always do with your snowballs is underhand throw them. So this is an example how far an underhand throw goes. Hits that third. This is an overhand throw. It's not that much smaller, but as you can see, if you underhand throw it, it does go further. So, but now if you these big snowballs fly a lot shorter. So if you throw that and it goes past that second mark, this one might not even go past the first one. Yeah, it doesn't even pass that cactus. So as you can see, it does not go very far at all. And that is pretty important. That is actually very, very important. I also did an experiment with someone else in the map Snowy Peak to test out the blast radius of the snowballs and to see how far it will launch you depending on what distance you throw the snowball from. Well, so in this experiment, I found that it doesn't really matter how far the snowball blasts away from you, it still launches you about the same distance. But also, if you didn't know, if you jump in the air, if you're airborne, then the snowball will launch you farther. Now, before I move on to about the mechanics, I just want to share a couple tips I found about the snowballs. The first tip is that these are actually snow piles and not bushes, and that means if you go inside of them, you can actually make snowball inside of these bushes. And also, one thing I do want to mention is the radius for where you can make snowballs is actually not like spherical on the bush, it's actually a square. So in this open space, I can still make snowballs. The second tip is how to make snowballs faster. You probably will see a lot of people just spamming their snowballs fast, just spamming it fast, but there's actually a much better way to do it. Make sure you get a snowball in both hands, put this near the ground, and just spam this hand on top of it, and you make snowballs in like a second. It's very, very fast. The third tip is how to make snowballs while you're running away from other people. What you want to do is make your hands into two L's like this. And what you want to do is run with them overlapping, with the thumbs overlapping, so like really close. And if you put that all together, again the snowballs, you can make these big snowballs really quickly. And now I am going to move on to the actual mechanics of snowball. One thing you probably are seeing people do a lot is throwing the snowball up, jumping, and then launching them farther. Say if you just throw it up, it gets the height will only have it launch you farther. But that is true, but there's something behind it. The snowballs actually, it gains momentum by going up and then coming back down rather than you just jumping and throwing it down. It gains a lot more momentum, and that is a very key point to understand, because that means if you're going fast and then throw it and jump, you move fast. So that's why the snowball, I have found out, pairs really well with zip lines, ropes, and ice. As I said before, the snowballs work really well with ice. So I'm here in mountains. I'm going to teach you guys one thing that you can do that will launch you really far in ice and mountains and completely juke everyone out. So basically, you're going to go down here, and that island right over there, between that pole for the slide and the start of island, you're going to want to throw your snowball up and slightly to the right so it lands on this side of you, and jump, and you will go flying onto that twisty part of the slide, like so. But you won't get it every single time, but it is a pretty easy trick to learn, and it will really juke the lava monkeys out. Okay. Now this next trick I made centers around this zip line right here. So what you're going to want to do is come to this spot in beach, and you're going to get a snowball, and you're going to be focusing on this zip line here. What you're going to do, come on this zip line, get some speed, throw underhand snowball, and throw it, and you will go just flying back. Now, the science behind both of these is that when you're going on the zip line and on the ice, you have already forward momentum going. So when you throw the snowball up, the snowball carries over that forward momentum, and ultimately, the more momentum the snowball has, the farther it launches you. That's also why if you drop it from a higher height, it gives momentum falling down. It will also launch you a lot farther. This has been the ultimate guide to snowballs. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Goodbye.